Hazard's Real move is all but done. English clubs fare better in the Europa League than they do in the Champions League. The Championship could have a new billionaire-backed team. We've got a roundup of the day's transfer rumours, and of course, we take a look at today's Friday feels. There are more coming up in the next few minutes, as I am your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. But before we get started, again, a quick reminder of the new release on the Onefootball app. Together with 11 Sports, if you're a user in the UK or Ireland, you can now watch selected La Liga matches live on your phone, with no subscription required, from just £2.99 in the UK and €3.49 in Ireland. All you have to do is go to the relevant matchday screen, click buy now, and you'll be charged to the iTunes or Play Store. With that said and done though, let's get straight back into the Daily News. And first off, we move to some pretty big news, which looks to be happening within the next few weeks if Chelsea don't reach the Europa League final. And that is the announcement of Eden Hazard moving to Real Madrid. Despite only having 1 year left on his contract, it's been said that Los Blancos are willing to pay around £140 million for the Belgian winger. The one stipulation is that they don't want it announced to disrupt Chelsea's season. They're in the thick of a fight for fourth place in potential Champions League football next season, and they're also looking pretty good after last night's draw with Frankfurt in the first leg of the semi-final of the Europa League. Announcing a Hazard deal now will just throw everyone off a bit. Zinedine Zidane is obviously eager to get his squad ready for next season, and by doing this, it looks like he may seal the first of two moves within the next few weeks, the second one being Christian Eriksen from Spurs. Much like Hazard, Christian Eriksen's contract runs out next summer. He hasn't signed a new one, and he could go in a deal worth around £100 million. And talking of last night's game in the Europa League, Eden Hazard was actually rested as he sat on the bench during the 1-1 draw. Wanted man Luka Jovic put Frankfurt ahead before Pedro grabbed an equaliser, and now Chelsea head back to Stamford Bridge in a pretty good position. They have also become the first team to go 16 games undefeated in the Europa League since Atletico Madrid did it from 2011 to 2012. They can make it 17 next week if they just draw, but any sort of win for Chelsea would see them through to the final in Baku, and it could be an all-English final given Arsenal's fantastic result against Valencia last night. Now, I say fantastic because they managed to win 3-1. However, the niggling thing at the back of their mind will be that the Spaniards did manage to get an away goal. They did score early on before Lacazette double and Aubameyang in the last minute. That Aubameyang goal really is looking crucial. A 2-1 victory is very slender. 3-1 looks a little bit nicer. Arsenal could have had a fourth had Lacazette managed to grab his hat-trick. However, they will be heading into the tie next week in good spirits as they hope to avoid a second successive semi-final defeat in the Europa League. A big shout out as well to Laurent Koscielny. The 33-year-old came back from a horrific injury in last year's semi-final and now is looking like a top quality defender again, despite having a rather unable body due to previous injuries. Arsenal will certainly need him in the upcoming fixtures, as much like Chelsea, they fight for fourth place and a spot in the Europa League final. And next up to some interesting news, which really seems like a line out of Football Manager or FIFA, and basically there's going to be a lot of money pumped into a championship team in England. Now, Qatari sports investment, the guys who own and pump billions of pounds into PSG, are apparently unhappy with the French champions. This is because they put a load of money in expecting European glory, but all PSG can do is get to the round of last 16 and then get knocked out. They spent so much money on Mbappe and Neymar and haven't seen much return that apparently they're willing to pull the plug. This doesn't mean that they'll completely stop all of the money, but they won't be pouring in as much as they did. Instead, they're looking at 4 championship teams, which could be on the receiving end of a ridiculous payday. Now, they are said to be QPR, Nottingham Forest, Leeds and Aston Villa. Now, with QPR and Notts Forest, they definitely need it. They finished in mid-table this season and are needing some help if they're willing to get back into the Premier League. As for QPR, they've already blown massive investment in the past by going up, giving huge wages and then going straight back down, so I'm not really sure they deserve it. But aside from this, they are a team in London, so it's obviously quite attractive to the Qataris. As for the other two teams, while Leeds and Aston Villa are both in the playoffs, and both can find themselves in the Premier League next season. Going up to the Premier League and having a ridiculous budget, well, that could serve them well in the long run, but only if they play it right and actually take lessons from QPR on how not to do it. But with that said and done, let's move on to a roundup of all the day's transfer rumours. First off, Atletico Madrid are open to speaking to Manchester City defender Nicolas Otamendi. Both AC Milan and Inter Milan are interested in signing Bayern's want-away striker Thomas Müller. Jean-Michel Seri, the Fulham flop, is interested in heading back to Ligue 1, but this time with Monaco. And finally, Xavi has decided to call it quits on his career and will be retiring at the end of the Qatari season after a glorious trophy-filled almost 20 years at the top of the game. And lastly but not least, we come to today's Friday Feels. This is why you guys leave all of your predictions for the weekend's football in the comment section down below, and I'll call out a few of them on Monday. I say a few of them because I can't call them all out, so don't get annoyed if yours isn't there, but we'll talk about that on Monday. As for this weekend's football, well, in the battle of second versus third in Ligue 1, in Lyon versus Lille, I'm going for a 2-2 draw with Nicolas Pepe to get on the score sheet. In England, though, I'm sorry to say, but I think Liverpool are going to slip up against Newcastle. I feel like they're going to pick up a point at St James's Park, and Manchester City are going to beat Leicester, taking them 3 points clear with 1 game to go. And bar a ridiculous swing in goal difference, I think Manchester City will all but claim the title. So there you have it for today's daily news. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and all of your Friday feels. You can also smash the like button whilst you're down there, click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, have a great weekend and I'll see you guys later.